Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from World's Bone, and he is in the Yamato, the tier 10 Japanese battleship. He's on the map hotspot, and it's a standard battle. It's obviously a tier 10, there are two tier A's that got kind of screwed. And well, there's no carrier, only 2 destroyers. So I guess a decent start. Of course, it's a standard battle that is usually not as exciting as domination. And unfortunately there is no real incentive to actually do something aggressive here. So he's found a nice spot here and he has some enemies to shoot at. The enemy team seems to position themselves rather aggressively here. So we'll see about that. The friendly team is split pretty evenly, I suppose, on both flanks. That's already good. You definitely wanna be holding both flanks. Now I'm hoping the Z-52 on the left flank is careful because there is a Seattle there, so he has to watch out for radar. And look at that, so there is a Buffalo sneaking around this side, and that Buffalo doesn't really have much support because the well, I mean, depends how the enemy ship is depends how the enemy ships are moving. But the Buffalo is a little bit separated from the herd. The Buffalo does not have torpedoes. So if he's rushing this Buffalo, there is a reasonable chance that he can just obliterate her. Now it looks like the Missouri has equal forts. Now there is a friendly Seattle who kind of is making the same mistake because like all of those ships here, they are behind this island. Now they can no longer support the Seattle despite them being pretty close. So that Seattle, well, I mean, he has an island in front of him, so let's hope the Seattle stays safe. Now the friendly team here is trying to get around here and flank. Of course it would have been better if maybe 2 ships pushed and the others stayed here in the north. It's not much of a flanking maneuver if you're all moving that way. Because if you just face the enemy from one direction, that's not really flanking now, is it? So the poor Buffalo is kind of trapped. He can't really escape with this island here. And he's facing the wrong direction. Now, Buffalo still can do quite a bit of damage, and you definitely don't want to show too much broadside because he has powerful armor piercing. Now this Buffalo is going down, the question is just how much damage can he do before it all ends. Now Yamato has no trouble overmatching, so here we go. And nice! So he actually sunk the Buffalo with a fire set from a secondary. While he didn't get the Citadel, he got quite a bit chunk of damage. Now meanwhile the enemy team has pretty much the same fort, right? While the friendly team here rushed that Buffalo, the enemy team is rushing the Seattle. And the poor friendly Seattle also has nowhere to go. Now meanwhile there is an Alsace. The Alsace is angling, but it's not like a Yamato's guns care overly much. He can just easily overmatch the bow. Now there is a lightning still around, so there is the chance of torpedoes, and that's probably why he is slowing down here. Also, I mean, as a Yamato, you don't wanna necessarily get broadside to the Alsace. In a bow-on duel, the Yamato has the advantage. So he wants to stay safe from the... I mean, that lightning has moved behind an island, but you'll never know when he launched torps. So he is playing this rather carefully, because there's no reason to risk anything right now. Now unfortunately, the Seattle got taken out, which is kind of suspected, I suppose. Like, it would have really been better if some ships stayed in the north, but I can understand that there was a reason to push here this flank, and everybody just considered to push with it. Which is also usually quite nice to see, I have to say. So anyway, the left flank isn't looking all that great, especially because like the Demon and the Republic are not in a position to actually help the Z-52 and the Yamato. Now, considering that there is radar, that Z-52 has to be really careful, otherwise he could try to hunt down that Shimmer with Smoke Hydro. The Yamato is... Well, if the Yamato gets pushed, he's in a pretty bad spot. If he can, he should probably run away. The question is, can he make a turn without showing too much broadside towards those enemies? Otherwise, I guess the Yamato could just reverse this way. The Republic might already be running away as well, so there are really no reinforcements for this Yamato. Now, meanwhile, here on this side, the friendlies actually lost quite a lot of ships here, and I'm not entirely sure how. Now, oh, there are torpedoes coming, so looks like he's eating one. Now, this is a pretty bad spot, because there is a potential crossfire going on. Then again, I mean, the Edinburgh isn't that big of a deal. You still don't want to show a broadside. But there is the Kurfürst and the Musashi. Now, the Musashi is thankfully behind an island, so there's a small window of opportunity before the Musashi rejoins the fight. And the Kurfürst is kinda leaving the fight unless he can make this turn and come back here. If the Kurfürst sails behind this big island, it would be perfect. I'm not sure if he will do that. Now, there is a Kronstadt still here with Raider, and that Raider might come in handy. Now, currently, Worldspawn can't shoot any of those ships nearby because of the islands, and they can't shoot him. But if he just waits, his situation will get worse, so he has to push in here. First order of business, sink the Edinburgh. Question is, can he sneak... Actually, the Kronstadt might sink the Edinburgh, and the Musashi is arriving. So he might manage to get behind this island before the Musashi arrives. Thankfully, the Kurfürst didn't make the turn. Kurfürst didn't charge in here, and that's good. Now that's an Edinburgh dealt with. And in case you're wondering why he was able to shoot when the guns weren't fully turned, that's just a replay bug. That's just a visual bug. Replays are quite buggy in this game, to be honest. But anyway, now next up we have a Musashi. Now the Kronstadt is running away here. And let's see, can he get some nice citadels here? Well, he can get one. Now the Kronstadt unfortunately scraped along this island, so he is a little bit stuck. But Yamato could easily sail over beside the Kronstadt here. If they had blocked each other, that would have been truly horrendous. Now the problem is that the Musashi will soon be broadside to the Yamato, and that could hurt a lot. Now with the Yamato's guns, and well, the Musashi in return could have done the same thing. He was able, despite of the angle, to score some citadels. Now the problem is the revenge of the Musashi is still missing. And I'm not sure where maybe the Musashi can't turn his guns fast enough. And that worked. Now the turret traverse is awful on the Yamato and the Musashi. So I feel like the enemy Musashi misplayed this still, but hey, it worked a lot better than expected. Now that's good because overall the battle isn't going so well. Now next up we have a Kurfürst. He's going for the upper belt, and that should be, yeah, that's a kill, that's a Kraken, and that's even a heal because he is running the legendary cap. Now there is still the lightning. And Kronstadt also survived, although on pretty low health. Now he's slowing down here because he wants to get shots off on that lightning and help the Kronstadt. They have an opportunity here to sink this destroyer, and they really need it considering how far the enemy team is ahead. Now RNG said no, but well, his front guns will hopefully turn in time. Now while the Kronstadt has radar, the radar of the Kronstadt doesn't last overly long. So there is a small window here to shoot that lightning, it feels like. So he once again missed. How about this time? Yeah, not looking too good. I guess he got one overpan in. Some more shells on the way. Come on. No. Well, somebody else delivered. Looks like the Kronstadt. So there is that. Meanwhile though, the enemy team is still slightly ahead and they are actually pushing the friendly cap. So 3 against 5, not an ideal situation, but not too desperate either, I suppose. Yamato is still rather okay on health. He has 3 heals left, but he doesn't have any healable damage left, so right now the heals are useless. But, you know, there is still a Conqueror around, there is still a Sao around, and a Seattle, so I'd say it's a certainty that he will earn. And then those heals will probably come in handy. Now it will take him a little bit of time here to re-engage the battle. We have the Kronstadt who is ready to defend here, but the Kronstadt is on pretty low health. He's at 52, he's probably trying to torp something here, but hey! Well, that was a nice citadel. And that brings him up to 6 kills. Great start. Now next up, the Shimakaze. If they can sink the Shimakaze, that would be a huge deal, because it's the last enemy destroyer. But once again, RNG say it no. Then again, I mean, at like 15 kilometers, you don't have to expect much when you shoot a destroyer with a battleship. But friendly team delivers, and it's 3 versus 3. Now Earthbound here suggests that the Kronstadt goes for the enemy base. I guess he could do that. Well, okay, he can't, because it looks like there was still a fire burning on him. So, it's 2 against 3, and the enemy team has the points lead. There is a bit over 5 minutes left. Technically, the enemy team could just all sail away towards the sunset, and maybe they'd be able to win. Then again, the friendlies have a destroyer to keep them spotted. I mean, the destroyer could also try to go for their cap, but I don't think there is that much time left, because it takes quite a while to go over there, and the enemy has a solid lead. So the friendlies need to sink some things. Now we have Seattle. Somewhat broadside. Well, there's a pen, but not enough. Now, a Seattle, a Sao, and a Conqueror. I'm surprised that there is only 1 fire burning here at this point. Oh, nice! So, friendly destroyer scored a torp. Enemy team is still ahead though. But yeah, so he's 2 fires burning on him now. I mean, he should expect to burn for the rest of the battle, considering the ships he is facing there. Now the problem is the enemy team is once again blocking their cap, and that just stops the friendly points generation. Basically what the enemy team is ensuring is, even if the friendlies sink the Conqueror, the enemy team might just have a points lead depending on how much he can block here. And that would be bad, because there isn't that much time left to play, and that Sao is, I think, pretty healthy, so the Sao could potentially just run away. But for some reason the Conqueror decided to disengage. I guess the Conqueror might be playing for time, or maybe he's just avoiding the torps. But if the Conqueror had blocked this cap for a little bit longer, it would have been a lot more troublesome for the friendlies. I mean, it's still pretty troublesome because there are 2 high explosive spammers focusing the Yamato. There is nothing the Yamato can do about it, other than hope he doesn't burn too badly. And the Z-52 has to hope that he gets lucky with torps. I mean, if he has a smoke screen still remaining, I guess he could try to smoke up and shoot some stuff, but I don't think his guns will make a great contribution here. And the Conqueror is at 711 hit points. Now, if that Conqueror manages to get a heal off, then it's getting really desperate. Will he though? Nope. Okay. So finally the friendly team's in the... but it's only a small lead. And well, Worldspawn is pretty low on health. It looks like this torp solo misses. So the Sao is going for the cap here. Now the Sao has 2 ways of winning, right? If he sinks 1 ship like the Yamato, that would give the enemy team enough points to win. Or he could just try to delay this cap for long enough that the enemy team overtakes them in points. Like, as long as the Sao is in here, the friendlies don't generate any points and the enemies still do. But for some reason the Sao is also just trying to show as much broadside as possible. I feel like if the Sao would have kited away, then again maybe he was afraid that the Yamato would drop into concealment. So while the Yamato is getting pretty low, that Sao is getting even lower. It looks like his torp launch missed. And Sao is trying to heal, but he can't really out-heal a Yamato's guns here. And so here we are with the results. It's obviously a win with 3,599 base experience. So he really carried hard here. Well done, Worldspawn, well done. He earned himself a Confederate, a Fireproof, a Dreadnought, a Kraken and a High Caliber, scoring 344,000 points of damage, sinking 8 enemy ships. Oh my, that was truly a beautiful match. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I'll see you guys next time.